Welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, always here helping you to redefine success, right? So we are here trying to give you that space to be you and be you in a way that is successful in a very personal way, right? So I have a wonderful, wonderful guest. Now, I'm gonna do the formal intro, but y'all know me. If I have a story of how I know this person, then I gotta share that first and foremost. So I know Cle from, oh my God, Cle. Am I saying it right? Okay,
Yes.
Cle. I know Cle from the Neurospicy Black Woman group on Facebook, and I have zero clue how I first encountered the group. I can't even tell you that. I don't know. But it was one of the only spaces that I feel completely safe on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Because you have groups and they're supposed to be for certain, communities but then you got the mean girls and you got this and you got that and especially um you know, we could all be neurospicy and experience it in different ways, right? So being able to accept one another, being able to interact without being confrontational, and then knowing that if anybody, comes in a space that doesn't belong in the space that is being handled on the back end and like
Yeah.
in real time, like handled on the back
Yep.
end. She don't play.
Address. Like,
She don't play. Look, I'm a mama bear, so I know a mama bear when I see one, and she does not play, right? So I appreciate that. Like, first and foremost, I don't want us to lose that in the conversation of you creating and protecting the space that you have. So that's where we'll start. But so, like I said, she is the founder of the Neurospicy Black Women group. And actually you have an LLC of that as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We're a year into a LLC.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna let her tell you all about all the things that she has going on with it because it's so much bigger than a group. It's,
Yeah.
a community, but it is like so like in depth. Like I haven't even gotten into all of the parts and pieces of it, but they exist. All right.
Yes.
And she is a leading voice in culturally grounded conversations about neurodivergence. She holds an undergraduate in psychology and a master's in organizational management, which shapes how she connects the personal side of ADHD and masking with systems, environments, and expectations that impact our day-to-day lives. Through community programming, live experiences, and digital content, she helps people better understand neurodivergence, especially through the lens of Black women. Her
Yeah.
approach is honest, practical, and funny with a focus on belonging over perfection. And every single word of that is like accurate. Like every single word I have experienced. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. And I just want you to tell us how you got there. Like what's the entrepreneurial journey? How did you get to here?
Well, I fought it for a long time. You know how when it comes to being in your passion, but then you're also like, but can I just help somebody else who's already doing my passion? Like, do I gotta lead it? Do I gotta be the face? Do I have to do all the things, Jesus? Like, what? because I got a checking card, I had a checking account and a savings account and all my money in my savings account, and I don't want to have to do it all.
Like, uh, and I've had the same conversation. I'm like, Lord, you sure? There's a lot of people named Danielle. Are you sure you meant this one? This
Like me, I'm your humble servant.
one.
This is
Right.
what you
Right. I mean, because this sound big and I like to be in the background, so let's talk about that.
Yes. And I was in so many other organizations, like unrelated to neurodivergence, because before this, I was very big in the travel space, and I've been able
Hmm.
to combine them a little, but before it was like everything was travel, travel groups, facilitating travel groups, planning, like it was so much behind the scenes work. So I would say in 20 maybe 2022, 2023-ish is when I found out I was ADHD. And I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. And then I started seeing all the different content. And I talked to my healthcare providers, like my therapist actually brought it up first. And it wasn't even a formal assessment at first. She was just like, yeah, because, with your ADHD, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, pump
Like
the
with
brakes.
my
What
what?
mouth?
With my who?
Excuse me? How did we get here? And she just like slid it in there. But then we went deeper into like, what that means, how that affects my brains and the things that led her to that. So then I went to my PCP and did an assessment, and it was like, oh yeah, definitely ADHD. And the having a diagnosis myself and realizing like all my quirks and how I am the way that I am, I was like, you know what? Let me make a space because I never felt comfortable in my own Facebook. One, I took about 10 years off of Facebook to begin with because I was an Instagram girly. I was scrolling TikTok and I was on uh what was it, the Snapchat for a bit back in the day. And
Hmm.
I was just like, I don't have a reason to be on Facebook. It's just family and stuff on there. So to come back to Facebook and now lead a group of 16,000 people feels wild. But there was so much to the journey that got me there. So I eventually started using Facebook again. And I'm like, these people haven't seen me post nothing in 10 years. They don't even know me because I'm not the same. At the time, I think I was 28. So I'm like, I'm not the same 18-year-old that was posting back then, 17, 16. I had Facebook since I was maybe 15. So it was just like, I don't feel connected to this audience anymore.
Hmm.
And they don't know who I am. And because there was like some drama and people I no longer spoke to. And like Facebook just felt like me being out of my element. And I
Hmm.
was like, I want a space where I can be silly, quirky, and I'm not worried like, oh, there's teachers on here. Even though I'm a grown woman outside of school, I'm like, oh, but my third grade teacher is on here. She can't see me cussing.
Yes,
Is
yes,
she right here? I
yes.
love her. Hey, Miss Manera. I don't know if she'll see this, but like, yeah, I'm like my teachers on here, people from church, people from this, people from that. Like so many levels and pieces of my life. I just was like, I don't think this is where I want to be.
Right.
So I was like, let me make a Facebook group. So I made the Neurospicy Black Women group, and then I was just scrolling. So, like once you're in a group, Facebook starts recommending all these other groups.
Hmm.
So then I joined another group for Black women who are neurodivergent. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I don't have to do the thing, remember?
Hmm.
Still
Right,
running.
right. Get out of jail free card.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, this is great. Let me just join this. And this was 2024. And like summer, so I made the group in March of 2024. I saw the other group maybe like the next month or later that month.
Hmm.
Might have even been August. So I joined that group because at the time I still hadn't added anybody to Neurospicy Black Women. It was just a
Hmm.
Facebook group that was created. So then I joined this other group and I just became active. Like I think it must have been mentioned in a podcast or something on TikTok, and it
Hmm.
just like blew up. So when I got in, I think it was maybe 7 or 8,000 people. And then within a month or two, it was like over 17,000. Like it just blew up. And I was like, this is amazing. There's so many people in here. There's so many conversations. Like, I was active. I wasn't expecting anything to come of it. I was just naturally like posting and celebrating and excited that there was so many of us in one space.
Hmm.
So the way that my brain works, like when I get involved in something, I want to give it 110%. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
trying to connect with the admins moderator, like, hey, have y'all considered this and did that? And just genuinely trying to help and
Right.
improve the space. So then what I found out is that the founder, the person who created that space, was no longer in the space. They'd gotten off Facebook to taking a break or
Okay.
whatever they needed to do for themselves, which is completely
Right.
understandable. So then I was asked by one of the members, no, one of the admins there, if I would be interested in becoming an admin. And I was like, yeah, like that's great. Excuse me.
Mhm.
That's like, all the things I want to do. I've already been active. I love that I have these ideas, blah, 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 blah. So it was like, oh, this is perfect. This is alignment. Like all the things are happening. And then I noticed like every idea I had, it was pushback. And then it was like, well, you're showing yourself too much. You're an admin. You should just be approving. You should be behind the scenes. And I'm like, but the reason that I got invited into this space is because of how active I was
Right.
with. Like I wasn't looking for
Right.
this. I didn't ask to become this. And now that I'm showing up as myself in the space that I was invited to, as being myself, you
Right.
don't want me to be
You want me
me.
to be somebody else?
You want me to tone it down. You want me to be
Okay.
seen and not heard type of
Yeah.
thing. So that was like really confusing. And then just kind of dealing with the mismatch. And that's where I had to learn a valuable lesson that it's like, one, just because we look alike, we may be able to relate that we're all going through these things. We're not all going to handle it the same. We're not all going to
Right.
treat each other the same. And because of those cognitive differences and maybe even cultural differences too, we may not understand each other.
Right.
So I think that was happening a lot more often. And it got to the point where it was like, okay, this isn't gonna work. So then I was no longer in that space. I wasn't an admin, and then it was just like, shit, I don't have anybody
Right.
in my group. And I actually had paused my group. On Facebook settings, you can pause an entire group.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, let me just pause this and focus on the group that I was in because I really
Right.
like went in. Like, when we gonna do something, we gonna do
No,
it.
it's like it's all in.
And
Like
tone, yeah, I was
it
10
might be
toes
for
down
15
before
minutes,
that.
but it's gonna be all in for that 15.
Exactly. So I was in it to win it because I was like, this is exciting. I want to serve this community. There's so much I want to do. Come on, y'all. And apparently I think I was the only one with the free time to like
Mm-hmm.
hyper fixate on it the way that I was. It just really became my heavy passion. Like, what can we do? How can we build community? We all have these different things. We're trying to understand diagnosis. There's people in here that's getting diagnosis late as 60, da 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 da. And I just
Right.
like wanted to solve world hunger in the neurodivergent community. That's
Right.
what
No, but I totally get it. Like it's like, well, why aren't we doing more? Like, like it's like you want to get
exactly.
into every aspect of the
Yes.
thing.
So it's like I had like the hyper focus within the hyper fixation and the free time and just the vision. That's what it came down to because it's like pretty much all the things that you already see me doing in Neurospicy is what I was trying to bring to that space. So I'm like, it's not like I was gatekeeping, like this needs to be mine or I need to do it this way. It was just like I was like, there's so much we can do with this. Like, come on, y'all, let's get the ball rolling. But because the people there, nobody owned that space, they
Right.
didn't treat it, it wasn't their baby. Like,
Right.
they're like, hey, we here to add people, moderate some comments, and go on about our day.
Right.
That was the
And I
gist
mean,
of
I
what they
think
wanted to do.
sometimes also, like, in addition to like the neurospicy, you also have to think about people's interpersonal skills as well as like areas that they are not healed, right? Like that
Mhm.
they have something that hasn't been addressed. Some
Right.
people feel very uncomfortable if they feel like you have more knowledge or expertise or like, a bigger vision than they do, right? Like I know I've
Mhm.
experienced that where it's like I'm like genuinely trying to help
Yep.
and it gets received as if I'm like being obstructionist, or if I'm,
Trying to
like
take
it's like all of
over.
this like negative backlash. And I'm just like, that's just naturally how my brain works. Like I'll meet a stranger and they tell me about their business and I'm like, have you thought about like,
Yes,
and so I've learned to like curb that to a certain extent because I'm like, everybody is not receptive
that
to
part.
that. Like I'm not gonna shrink myself, but at the same time, I just met you. So you don't know that
You're
that's
right.
that's how I am. So let me just put my finger over my lip and just keep it moving. Like
Yeah.
it's sad, but that is the way a lot of people perceive
Mm.
that like we're enthusiastic. It's like this like positive
Yeah.
energy to us, but people receive it sometimes very negatively.
Yeah. Yep. So I had to learn that. And it's like, well, y'all recruited me. I'm doing the things. I have the same drive, excitement, different things I want to see in the community. And now it's a problem.
Yes, yes. And I thought that was the goal. Like that's the
Yeah.
part I think that like messes with my brain every time it happens because it happens anytime I'm like I get further involved in something that like someone else's, right?
Hmm.
And I think that that's the craziest part to me is like I thought we all came in here with the same mission.
Right. So, but we didn't like no one from what I've seen as far as being in Facebooks and groups and things like that, no one has brought a Facebook group to the capacity and vision of what I've done with my group.
No,
And that's
ma'am.
not
No,
even
they
just
have
with
not.
like to my porn and like, oh, me, like Snoop Dogg be like, I want to thank
Thank
me.
me. Like,
So,
but no, but thank you. Like, I'm gonna thank you. You ain't gotta do it. I'll take the mic. I will thank you because it was just instantly a different feel. I'm a
yeah,
part of a lot of groups that I don't never say not nary a word in. I just see what go, you know what I'm saying? You just,
yeah,
see what colors end up on the wall. Like but what I see does not make me want to join a conversation. It does not make me because while I can carry my own in an argument, I'm not an argumentative person.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not the type of person that seeks drama for the sake of drama. I believe that everybody has the right to their own like, wholeness, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not I like a good Coke. You could like Pepsi. That ain't none of my business. Now, I might joke about that, but I'm not about to come for you like, you better cross over or else. And that's
right.
how I feel a lot of spaces that are supposed to be safe spaces operate. And it's like, especially when you're talking about neurodivergence or anything that it hits identity on such a deep level.
Yes.
I feel like it's dangerous for you to create a space for that and not also create a space that provides protection.
Yeah. And it's an identity that's still very much ununderstood. We're not always accepted within this identity. So I wanted to create a space that had the ability for people to be seen, to be themselves, to be quirky, to be silly, to ask the questions that they wouldn't be comfortable saying out loud. So then, as I was no longer in that other space, I was like, well, I guess I'm here and I'm going to start back at literally zero in the group. Um, it started to grow, and I would say like the first few months it was growing kind of slow. It was 50 people, and like some people were coming over from the other space because the algorithm, and then there was someone who another admin that was over there, and she did understand the vision and she wanted the things, but she didn't have the same capacity or the time. She was in just had a new baby, and
Hmm.
you know it was like we get it, but then it's like she was there before me, so it's like maybe there was these different dynamics and trying to see both sides. And then I also had to look at myself like, okay, Cle, maybe you did get a little big for your britches, or you got excited hitting the ground running. But again, because nobody is over that space, and maybe they still had a connection with the owner. I never met the person who was originally the creator of that space, that maybe this is not the direction that they wanted. So I can't go in somebody else's house and start
Right.
decorating the way that I want to decorate. Even
Right.
if the decoration is going to be super cute, it was never my space to
Right. Right.
change and evolve and put that level of work into, even if I didn't see it at the time. And it's like, oh, but I just want to help. I'm genuine. I'm good. Like da 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 da. And I have that thing where it's like, but understand, I'm trying to help you, and I am, but
Right.
everybody don't want help. Everybody don't want your
No,
vision.
no.
Everybody don't
Sometimes this is
need
what I
what you have
want.
to offer.
Right.
Mhm.
This is the scope, and and I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, then look, let
yeah,
me again put my finger on my lip and
yeah,
just fall
yeah,
back, right?
yeah.
Because it's not. I totally get what you're saying. Like, yeah, you can't go and redecorate, somebody's house, but I do think that there's somewhere in between,
Hmm.
and I feel bad often when I'm like, okay, I see that there's ways that this could be improved, but
Hmm.
obviously there's friction, and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to overtake, right?
Yes.
Just trying to improve what exists.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes it is just like a miscommunication of,
Hmm.
especially I think the energy that we carry when we on that kick, whatever it is
Yes.
that whatever we have fixated on, when we are
Yeah.
and
We
and when
eat,
you
sleep, and
said
breathe it.
hyper
Like,
fixation and hyper focus together, I know exactly what that energy
mhm.
is. And when we're on that energy, it can be too much.
Yeah. For
It can
other
be too
people who
much for
ain't
other
there, because they
people.
like, what is wrong with you,
Cause
girl?
they like, can you calm down? Like, can you do
Yes.
all the way? You on 10. And it's like,
Yeah.
but it's almost
And no
like,
one else had that energy because they had kids, they had careers, there was someone in a completely different time zone across the world, and it was just so many things going on. And I'm like, come on, guys, we all got to do this. We got to change the neurodivergent world.
right, right. No, when you it's like it's something about that combination that is
Yeah.
like, it's like if you put like a toddler, you just give them like a whole case full of pixie sticks and say just go.
Yeah,
It's that level of energy,
it is.
and it's like, all right, calm down because everybody else ain't here with you like you.
Right. And it's like, Clea, did you remember to eat today? No. Did you
No,
drink some water? No.
no,
Did you go in that group? I
no,
was in there all day.
no, no. And like some of my friends don't understand. They're like, "What you mean you forgot to eat?" I'm like, "Y'all don't like if I'm locked in, that's the last thing on my mind. Like once I like the dust has settled, then I'm like, I am starving, and I'm like, and I'm
Literally. And
confused
then it's
about
like,
it
eat
too.
everything.
Right? I'm confused. I'm like, why am I starving? Oh, because you haven't eaten in 2 days. Like you just like yeah, my
Yeah.
husband will literally text me and say, "Did you eat?"
Yep. That's, hey, that's like rule number one of marrying or dating someone with ADHD. Uh, Remind them to eat, remind them to drink. And I know it might feel like you got a little toddler, but sorry, I am the baby that we don't have yet, because did I eat? Did I drink? I'm going to remember to feed other people. That's
Right,
not gonna
but
slip my
I'm not
mind. If
gonna
I was,
remember about myself.
yes. I'll take care of, feed everybody. Like if I go out, I'm like, oh, we having 3 meals a day, whatever. Especially on vacation and stuff. But when it's just me and I'm in my zone and I'm home or whatever, I'm like, I'm parched. How long has it been? Why my lips chapped? Like,
Right?
because you get
No,
locked in.
like it's it's ridiculous, but it is what it. I could be sitting there because the thing that my husband does first thing in the morning, like I'm a tea drinker, I'm not a coffee drinker. So he will make me a cup of tea, make me a cup of water and sit it next to me. And sometimes it'll be like an hour later and I'm like, "Oh, my mouth is dry." The water has been sitting there the entire time. Like I could have just, I
Okay.
mean, and it's not even far. It's like right there. Like
Me with my bottles.
right, like just do better. Just do better. But it's just it is how we operate. And I mean, I guess what I really want you to speak to, because I know that there's some people out there that may not realize that that they a little more spicy than they thought.
Yeah.
They may not realize that I personally, one of my clients, she had gotten diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
And she was about to get diagnosed, but she was like, she shared this like video with me, and it was just like some symptoms, and I was
Yeah.
like, girl, I'm like, so I don't know what that is, but I think I got it. I got it. I got it. Like I got it. And then I just went down like a bunny hole of like
Yeah.
I
All the
was like and so I just started consuming content about it, and I'm like, bruh,
yeah.
like I got that. And then similar to what you were saying about your therapist. So I did a summit, a virtual summit. And
Mm-hmm.
the guy that hosted the summit, he deals with ADHD business owners. And so there was like a meet and greet kind of call or whatever. And this one lady was talking about some issues she was having, and I was explaining how I deal with that issue, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I haven't been like diagnosed. I just, whatever. Cause she was like, with ADHD. And I was like, well, I haven't been diagnosed, but I believe I have ADHD. And this is how I deal with it. I like finished talking. He was like, nah, Danielle, you got it.
The
And I was like,
proof is in the pudding.
all right, then thank you. And good day. Um, and now I'm like exploring ADHD, right? Like, cause I'm
Mhm.
like,
Same.
because I've always talked about having duality in my personality. Like, sometimes I'm very, very this, and then sometimes I'm very, very the exact opposite of that thing,
Mhm.
right? So I'm just like, I guess I'm saying all that to say I would have never known.
Yeah.
I would have never known until, excuse me, until I
You get
went
that
down those
water.
trails. Look, and I got it right here. And I got it right here.
Yep. That's literally
But
how.
I would have never known until I went down those trails. So, what are some things that people should be, thinking about looking at some of the things that they do that might be a little quirky or a little different, or for business owners, a lot of times I think it's things that we struggle with because we don't realize that we have to do it differently.
Yes. So there's different levels of symptoms and things that we could pay attention to. Because originally, when we heard about ADHD, even growing up, we just like, oh, they have ADD or ADHD, because we had both of those sayings back then. And they was like, oh, they're just hyper. Oh, that kid can't sit down. They probably got ADD, da da da. And that was kind of how we heard about it. Growing up. So we're like, oh, okay, that has nothing to do with us women, especially like in the Black communities, like that they just need their butt whipped and they need to be told to sit down somewhere. So then we become these adults and we realize we have inattention, which is difficulty focusing, being easily distracted, forgetting details, like minor details and things, forgetting why we came in a room, difficulty finishing task, even small tasks, and that's happening. And then the next thing we have is the hyperactivity, which is maybe we're restless, we're fidgeting all the time, we're talking excessively, or we have issues with relaxing. And then the next part is if you're experiencing impulsivity, it could be you're acting without thinking, you're interrupting others while they're speaking, you have difficulty waiting for your turn, like you're literally like wiggling in your seat, like, ah. So, and then the thing that we see most often now is the executive functioning challenges. And that's difficulty with planning and follow through, prioritizing how we manage our time, staying organized, and how we follow through on the tasks that we have. And those are some of the symptoms that we see more as adults, compared to looking for a hyperactive child. So as we start to see those things within ourselves more. And it's not just like simply like, oh, I'm a little restless or oh, I just can't focus today. It's when it gets to the point of it impacting your life to the point where you're not able to function the way that you need to as an adult. And I guess it gets confusing because a lot of us have been so accustomed to masking and having things get done regardless. Like, we have a lot of mamas who is like, hey, these kids got to eat, they got to do this, they got to do that. And they're taking care of the things they need to, but they may be neglecting themselves. That could also be something that's happening with ADHD. Like, we're doing the things because we have to. And we know, like, when the fire is under our butt, we gonna make it happen. Maybe you're the person who
Right.
procrastinated a long time, or, you might go real hard for a few days, get like a week worth of work done in 1 or 2 days, and then you might be burned out for 3 days and don't even realize it, like, dang, I'm just being lazy. I need to get my butt up. And we just think that because culturally it's like, suck it up, get it together. Like,
Right.
come on, we got more to get done. We got to take care of this and that. So we push ourselves. But then when you're in a space where you can no longer do that and that's not working, you're realizing like this is something more than just needing to push myself to get the things done. And the ways that this can be assessed, because now that it's popular, it's also a money grab. So be careful if it's like, oh, well, if you want to get accommodations, you need to pay $5,000 and be on this waiting list in order to get your diagnosis. And while those deeper assessments can definitely be helpful, ADHD and autism actually are both clinical diagnoses. So with that, it's more so understanding that it can be diagnosed by a qualified healthcare or mental health professional, and this can be your primary care provider, psychiatrist, psychologist, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and other trained clinicians, depending on the scope of the practice. And the same thing with autism, especially adult autism, because with that we're able to have the words to speak about our experiences and what we have going on, compared to them assessing a 3 or 4 year old for autism. They're looking at behaviors and communication, like they're nonverbal and what they have going on. As an adult, we can talk about everything because we lived through our entire lives. So this is a huge part of what I get into, especially when it comes to adult diagnosis, because it's such a different experience. And for adult diagnosed autism, if you functioned through your whole life and maybe now you're like, actually, I think I do have this, I may be on the spectrum, they're like, okay, but what do you expect us to do with that information, because you've already taken care of yourself all these years. So people have a hard time validating that, but also
Mhm.
it's like, well, how do we even help you with this? There's no particular medication or something that we can give you once you find out. But people want that validation of knowing like this is something that I figured out by
Right.
myself. Like, I need
Right.
other people to understand that I function differently. So that's the difficulties we get in. And people seek a diagnosis because we want a better understanding of self, access to appropriate treatment, support with daily functioning, workplace or school accommodations, and then validation of release. So when we start seeing those different things, we have to validate ourselves and not give up on ourselves, because we're going to know ourselves more than anyone else, more than
Yeah.
any doctor, psychiatrist, because they're not with us every day. So that my biggest thing with that, the long way of answering,
No,
you
you're
can,
good. You're good.
you know,
I'm
you
enjoying
can
every
tell, like,
bit of
I
this.
might have, when I get it, people that know nothing about neurodivergence, when they get in a conversation with me and I start talking to them and sharing experiences and education and background, they're like, wow, you light up when you talk about that, or I never knew about this. This is exciting. And that's literally how I know I'm walking in my purpose, because I can like be wrapped up in this stuff and talking to people about it all the time. And I feel like I probably should have did some more school where I could diagnose, because I'd be spot on every time. And I just was talking to a friend and I was like, I think you might be ADHD, friend. And we just went through some more of the diagnosis, how it can the symptoms and how it can appear in men, black men. And he was like, I have that. Yeah, I can get tasks done when this is happening. I just feel like
Mhm.
I'm not focused. I bounce from here to there. And he was just saying all the things. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna email my doctor. And that's happened to me quite a few times now. And it's such a passion because I want us to know, I want us to understand, I want to break those stigmas. And I'm like, this doesn't mean you can't function or that people should look at you differently and all those things. And it's something that's going to help you more, whether you're medicated or not, at least having a basic understanding of what's happening and how why you're functioning differently can be a world of difference. So,
No.
yeah.
So one, yeah, my husband tells me that like when I'm talking about like either if I'm talking about business or like, just helping somebody find themselves, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
like, we've been somewhere and across the room, he's like, you were talking to that person about
Yeah.
business, aren't you? And like that light up, like that light up
Mm-hmm.
is really like connected to purpose. But one of the things that you said that like really stuck with me was like, the masking, right? Because of the masking, a lot of times, one, we don't recognize that something is going on with us, right? Because, we just think that this is what everybody is doing, right? And
Yeah.
we're just trying to keep up the pace with everybody. And something's wrong with us because we not keeping up the pace when really it's just that we're not, that's not our race, right? Like that we have a different way of operating. But the other side of that is, um and I'm sure you can speak to this better than I can, but like in high functioning black women or high achieving black women, let me say it like that,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of times it's like, like I've said to someone before, my thoughts about like ADHD, and I'm like, now I'm looking at the autism thing, and they're like, I don't know, I don't see that, and I'm like, you not inside my head, like
That part.
you
You're like, what do
see
you
the
see?
outward presentation, you're not inside of
Yeah.
my head, right? Like it's and I try not to. I intentionally try not to mask at this point in my
Mhm.
life. Like I would just straight up tell people, like I'm like, look, draw me a picture. Stop saying the words to me. I don't understand. Like
Mhm.
stop. You done gave me 14 steps and I missed all of them. Like just write it down. like
Yeah.
I try to be more open about
Mhm.
it, in this phase of my life now that I understand it. But I mean, some of masking is just trying to fit in, right? But some of it is that you don't know. Like if you haven't been diagnosed, if you don't know the symptoms, you don't know that that's just how you are, right? Like as
Right.
opposed to I'm just struggling to figure something out that everybody else seems to be doing, right? So just because you like for me, when I look at some of the like symptoms that people have like put out there, right? Like that,
Mhm.
okay, this is a symptom. Even somebody who knows me very well may not pick up on that I have that symptom
Mhm.
because I have internally created a workaround.
Yes, that the queens of the workaround, okay?
So I call them cheat codes, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't do it like you do it, but I do it my way and it works. And
That,
so it's a lot of things that I have created like cheat codes for, and that helps me to get through the day, right?
yes.
But because of that, if somebody were to like, just be observing me, they're not gonna realize that I took that turn because I didn't show my work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
all happening internally. And so I'm saying that because I feel like there are a lot of women out there that are living it and struggling with it internally and
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that that's what's happening.
Yeah, because a lot of it is we're hyperactive on the inside a lot of times because the brain is constantly going. When I say from sun up to sundown, there's a whole conversation happening up here. We talking through everything, every decision, every conversation, what we got to do. Like I forget that my regular voice even works some days because my internal monologue is going and I'm having a conversation with myself all day. So if I'm not on the phone and I'm not in a space where I'm talking to people and all that, like I'm like, oh, did I say anything today? Like out loud? Me. Like,
Right. Like, am I still here? Hello, hello.
yeah, right. Because the entire day, my chatter and stuff has been internally. And I don't even realize that. Or even sometimes when people get in my car, I don't realize that the music isn't on because one, I'm bopping in my head, or I'm thinking about where we're going, what I need to do, and I get there like, you don't put music on when you drive, and I'm like, oh my bad, we could turn the radio on, press play,
Right.
like, because the silence, I don't notice the silence because I don't experience it. I don't have silence.
Right. I think I do now. I didn't
Yeah.
always. I do sometimes, but I definitely know what you mean as well. Like, you know what
Mm,
I'm saying? Like, I definitely know what, like I'm in a whole different
yeah.
experience. And sometimes people will be like, what? And I'm like, what you mean, what? Because I done made a face, but it was about what was
Yep.
happening in here. And I'm like, I don't even know what y'all doing outside. Like,
Right.
I was inside. I don't know what y'all doing outside. That face did not apply to you. I'm sorry that my
Right.
inside
Oh.
came outside.
That's always the worst when it's bad timing. You like make a stink face or something, and they're like, or people think you looking at them wild, and you're not even paying them no mind. You just
Like, I
thinking
didn't even
about
know you were
a
here.
situation that happened in third grade, and you're like, oh,
Like, I didn't
well,
even know you were here. Like, I didn't know you were here. Like, did not know. But yeah, it's just it's interesting to me. I mean, my degree is in psychology as well. So, all of this
mm,
fascinates me for like multiple reasons.
yeah,
But it's just made so many things make sense to me, right?
hmm,
Like I know a lot of people struggle, right, when they find
yeah,
out. Like to me, I think it was a relief, right? Because it was
yeah,
like, oh, that's why I do that.
hmm, yeah,
I get it now. But I also like, again, you can't, everybody has to experience things their own way, right?
yes,
But I want to encourage people to, celebrate yourself and like
yes,
who you are because we live in a world that I unfortunately is like, this is the box, get in the box,
mhm,
like, and it's like, are we supposed to be in boxes? Like, are we
right.
like, are we supposed to get in those boxes? I don't think so. Um,
I can't
but
think it.
right, I just can't, friend. I just can't. First of all, today I'm feeling claustrophobic, so I don't know if I want to be in there.
Right.
Um, but it's just for me and my work, I'm always trying to get to the root of who that person is
Yes, I feel
because
that.
that's where the magic is. Like
Mhm.
it lies in who you are and like embracing it. I was on a podcast like a couple of years ago about grief and
Yes. I literally
um
just wrote grief and I wrote it as a note to myself. I just sent it because I was thinking about the grief that comes along with the diagnosis when people are like, I could have been, I should have been, what if I knew sooner? Why didn't my parents see this? And you like feel like people weren't paying attention to you, they weren't ever seeing you because it's like, dang, the signs were there.
right,
Why nobody helped me?
right. But I mean, I think also the signs were there, but did they know? Like,
Nobody knew.
did they have that understanding? Did they have that language, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I think that people, when they think of like neurodivergence, they think of like, the extreme cases.
Mhm.
And so if it's not that, then
Yeah.
what? I mean, they saw and they put you in gifted.
Yeah. A lot of us were in the the gifted programs.
They saw and they put you in gifted. I mean, to be honest, like when I was little, I didn't know that like now looking back, I understand. When I was small, I was evaluated, right?
Mm.
Because I didn't talk.
Yeah.
It was a choice.
I ain't
Uh,
got nothing to say to y'all.
It was 100% a choice. Well, my thing was, so I have a very outspoken cousin,
Hmm.
And, we grew up like siblings almost. And he would just stay in trouble for saying the things that I was thinking in my brain. And so I was just like, you know what? Y'all ain't ready for this. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. Why am I talking to you? Like, it doesn't feel safe.
Hmm.
So I didn't talk. So I talked to my mom. I didn't talk to anybody else. And nobody
Yeah.
believed my mom that I talked to her because I wouldn't talk to anybody else, right? So it's the whole thing. And so my mom passed when I was like 6. And so then I started talking. And then people were like, she could talk. Yeah, I could talk the whole time. Like, but when my mom was sick, like they sent me to get evaluated. My grandmother was like, ain't nothing wrong with that child.
Yep. The typical. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
And my grandmother was always colorful. So she was just like, ain't nothing wrong with that child. He's children up here eating paste. Ain't nothing wrong. And I'm like, ma'am, ma'am, really then, okay. But so even then, going and having to go through that process, they still didn't like, they weren't like, oh, she got ADHD or, she has autism. They would like put her in gifted.
Yep.
Like she won't talk, but she understands things, like so
Yep.
I think that even in that time period, I don't know that they, like you said before, is this whole hyperactivity. Like I was nowhere near a hyperactive child. Like I was, best behavior, this, that, and the other. So it didn't fit that like stereotype that we've like come to, attach to it, I guess.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like should we be paying more attention? Absolutely. I mean, I think at this point, we do have the language, we do
Mm.
have the understanding, and we need to release ourselves from the stigma, right? Of
Yes. The shame,
the
the
shame and
what
this
do
and that and
people
everything
know?
else. Like,
Hmm.
it's not that. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that. And all it is doing is giving you an opportunity to better understand and better help your child.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, ourselves, our children, and we're understanding the genetic aspect of it more and the history behind it. And then we get so many people, even just yesterday, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and it was like, well, I've never seen all this stuff when I was growing up. A lot of this just happened, and now all these people is buzzwords. And I'm like, well, if you think about back in the day, one, we didn't have the language, but we had these behaviors. You either got it spanked out of you until you learned to mask and not do the impulsive things you wanted to do, or you know, severe cases when people are high needs, they were institutionalized.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that were put in place to hide and
Hmm.
block, and we don't have people in those facilities anymore where it's like, oh, they have mental needs, like go put them in this place. Is like, no, they get to stay home, or they, might have caregiving centers and stuff that people go to if they put their children there, but it's not like these imprisonments
Right.
essentially that used to be around. And it's only been about a decade since the last one closed down, and people don't realize that, but a lot of those things were hidden,
Right.
or people felt a lot of shame if their child didn't look or behave and function like everybody else. So a lot of those kids may have been put up for adoption and different things. Like there's so much that I haven't even been able to tap into yet because the topic is so large. But something that I would love to even do in this near future, and something that I think about is lot is that we have to have grace for each other, even within the neurodivergent community, because when we have different levels of needs, and I'm working on language. So when you're in this field, so much is ableism and internalized ableism, and we don't
Mhm.
realize the words that we say
Right.
can hurt because we're just speaking the words that we've always said.
Right.
So
Right.
we notice like language and changing over time. So like we don't use the R word anymore, but back
Right.
in the day, we that was part of a
That was
sentence
just
that was so
just
blankety blank
just
because
yes.
it was just like banter and things like that, and that was like a huge taboo no. And
Right.
that's what needs to happen with a lot of the language that we use. Like, With functioning, they don't want to say high functioning and low functioning anymore because it's a spectrum, but the spectrum isn't a line, it's a circle. So I might be low needs here, high needs here, great
Right.
at this, bad at
Yes.
that, and someone else, maybe they're nonverbal, but they're amazing at the thing that I suck at.
Right,
And
right. Yes.
it's just such a different level of understanding and existence. And it's like we don't have peace and communication within the people who actually have the neurodivergence and the different diagnosis and all that. How are we going to expect the outside world to understand us if we don't have
Yeah.
compassion for each other? And then I get that a lot with parents as well, because we still get the people that's like, I wish there was a cure, or I'm so sorry, like, my
Oh
child was
Lord
born like
Jesus.
this, or what did I do?
Yes, right.
With
Like,
vaccines and this and that. And I understand their struggle and their pain because if they're dealing with a child that has high needs and who is never going to be fully independent, that is something that they mourn because they feel like they're losing out or what their child could have been rather than seeing what their child is. And I understand that heartbreak as a parent for the ones who may feel that way. But then it gets to the point of sometimes people dealing with people who are on that level of needs, seeing people who may be lower needs or more functional in society are like, well, you don't need the resources. My kid need them because of blah, blah, blah. And it's like we're trying to take
mm-mm.
from each other
Right,
and be
right.
insane. And it's
It's
like,
like a scarcity mindset.
yes, it's enough for everybody. And, just because you like red and I like red, don't mean there's not enough red for
Red
both
to
of us.
go
Like,
around.
yeah, it's enough to go around. And everyone wants to understand themselves. No one is less valid. It's just different.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest campaign, I would say, because there's so much, especially when people get keyboard warriors and everyone's on the internet saying whatever, whether they believe it or not. Sometimes that's the dopamine seeking people have is they want to fight and banter and make people feel
Yeah.
bad about themselves. And I just really want more compassion across the board.
I think I think in all things we could
Yeah.
be more compassionate and um yeah, I do it hits me so wrong when I see people respond so heavy to
Yeah.
something that someone else is experiencing, right?
Mhm.
Like I feel like if you can't bring something constructive to the table, then just scroll on. Just scroll
Yeah.
on. But people have, very strong opinions about things that don't affect them. And
Yeah.
that's just kind of wild to me. Like, like I can't speak to somebody else's experience, right?
Mm.
Sometimes like, I've always been a puzzle girl. I'm a problem solver. Like that is a part of who I am and how I'm wired. So like even in some of the things that people are experiencing difficulty with, I might not have experienced that same thing because like I said, I've come up with some workaround some kind of way, like, for that thing. But that doesn't take away my compassion for that person that's
Mm.
struggling with that thing because like you said, I'm good at this, they probably good at something else that I'm just like can't do that. Like that's not my skill set. So I think we have to learn how to love and accept ourselves but also love and accept others in their differences, like you say, like how do we expect other people to embrace, accept, accommodate what we're going through if we can't do that amongst each other?
Right. That,
Like they don't have to experience it the way that you do. Like, um think about like childbirth.
right.
You got the people that's about to get in that pool and they about to have their baby, no drugs, and they got their doula with them. You got people like me that's like, give me everything that you can. in the
Mm,
world. And you got people that's in between, right? That's like, there's all different experiences, all different gonna come out of that experience with a different take, right?
yes.
It doesn't make it any of those less valued.
Hmm.
It's like that's just your experience. And, you
Exactly.
know, if you can share something of your experience to help someone, that's great, but not to negate someone.
And that is so huge, and that's like a big part of the group. I don't even remember if I ever said how I got to the full creation of the group. True ADHD
Look,
conversation.
I told you this was about to be an ADHD pop off. We
That just made me think back to it. And I'm like, yeah, because like something that I emphasize in the group is if someone made the post and they're talking about their experience, that is not someone else's space to jump down their throat and disagree with them. Your post is your house, and that's not something that's practiced on social media
no,
because
because
people are
people
so
just
used to
come in and be
disagreeing.
like,
Yeah. But I'm like, people can respectfully disagree, but you can't go on someone's post and bash their experience, their lived experience, and also getting people comfortable with saying what they need. Like, are you just venting? Do you want advice? Do you want this type of response? Like, what exactly are you looking for by sharing this information? So, constantly putting those rules and regulations out there. And it's like, no, I'm not censoring or silencing anyone, but a lot of the people in here, we're already scrutinized by the outside world and told that we need to do this and need to do that and be this way. And when people come into this space and they're sharing something, it is it's their free space on that post. Now, if someone wants to disagree or, don't like it, they can, I always say, like, you don't have to engage. You can keep scrolling, or if you feel that strongly, make your own post, and that will be your space to say and do the things that you want within that realm because it's your topic. So even with Mother's Day just passing, there's people that have very strong feelings against people who have pets calling themselves a parent.
girl, I saw that.
And you saw that, friend?
Yes.
You be seeing the tea in there. And you like, oh, we gonna have to talk about
What
this.
are they talking about? And I
Yeah,
think, and then like somebody posted something, and then it was like the rebuttal, I guess, to
yeah,
the initial post or whatever. And I was like, y'all got time today because are you serious?
yeah.
Like,
And it's like, why does we have to think with a lot of things, how does this change my life? Does it matter? Can I just go on about my day and let people that feel that way have it? Because some people, and my take in it was, some people cannot have children. Some people decide to parent a different way. Some people, they may not have biological children, but they auntie, they sister, they, whatever they can to show up in these different ways. And people that have their pets, they love them just as much as their parents and their kids. And then there's people that have kids and pets and they're like, yeah, I agree because my dog and my cat is just as much as my kids as my other kids. And then someone was like, well, I only have pets, but when people are talking about their toddlers, it's so hard for me to not say my dog does that too.
and so look, I'm gonna get full
So
disclosure here
like,
because you
yeah.
know I keep it real with y'all. So years ago, I
Hmm.
definitely was team. Like I remember when I used to work a full-time job, and I had like I would do a bulletin board for like each month. So May was Mother's Day, and here come these people with the pets, and I was like, "What you're not about to do is put that dog next to my child." Like, and so, but my thing was, okay, I understand. This is how you feel about
Yeah.
your pet. So I did. May was Mother's Day, June was Father's Day, July was pet parenting. And we did
Mhm.
all the
Yeah.
pets, right? Now that was some years ago. That was a long time ago in my life. All right. So full circle, we got a dog during COVID. And I feel just like the young lady you're saying, like when people be talking about toddlers, I be like, put your finger on your lip. They're not talking about those. They're not talking about those. They're not talking about those. But I'm like, I didn't realize like I've had pets before, but not as an adult. I didn't realize when we got him, I was like, this is like a child all over
Yeah.
again. Like, what you mean I got to get up because you got to go to the bathroom? What are we talking about? But I'm like, very often now, because my child 19, so I don't have no relevant,
Yeah.
recent children's stories, right? But I got a whole bunch of relevant, recent Walter stories. Like, and so I totally get it. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I would not have like I saw the post, I didn't think
Mhm.
nothing of it. Like
Yeah.
if that's your truth, then that's your
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away from me. It doesn't take my
no,
kids away. Like it don't do any of that. So that's
no.
I think when I'm moderating and creating the space and making those things, I think about like, does this impact someone else's life? This is your life. This is your reality. This is your experience. I cannot take any of those things away from you. So I can keep scrolling. I approve things that I have no idea or understanding about whatever. Like I can't relate, but that's someone else's story. And I'm like, just because I created this space does not mean everyone have to agree with me. It doesn't mean I have
No.
to fully understand you. But what I can do is respect you. I can hold space for you. I can love you. I can, be a support. And even if I don't get it, like I can comfort in a way that's like, I see you, or I could just simply keep scrolling. If it's something that grinds my gears that much, but it's not hurting anybody else, I could just keep scrolling. I don't have
That
to say
part.
anything. I don't
That
gotta say
part.
anything. It
Like
is okay.
I don't understand every post that's posted. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might just say hugs
Yeah.
or I'm sorry you experienced
Or
that.
I might ask a question for further
Clarity,
clarification.
right. But
Help me.
outside of that, like if I just don't get it, I just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Or if I'm like, my husband and I have this running joke of like, we watching something and it's so far removed from how we live,
Mm.
I'm like, oh, they're not speaking our language. Like I don't know that language. Or sometimes I say, oh, I'm not their target audience.
Yes.
Like
That's literally what it comes down to.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't live like that. Like you lost me in sentence one. Like this a whole paragraph and in sentence one I was like, wait. Okay. And then I just keep scrolling because I'm too far removed to understand that, right? And
Mm.
that's okay because somebody else does. That's a beautiful thing about like having, billions of people on the planet. Somebody understands what you're talking about.
Yes. Exactly.
And I'm gonna leave that post for them to respond to. And it's no judgment. It's just I don't have anything valuable to add to this conversation, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't always have to have something or chime in or whatever. It's okay to move forward. Keep scrolling.
Right.
It's a millions and hundreds of things to see. But also I think because a lot of times people engage with the group from their feed that sometimes they don't realize that they're on a post from the group because Facebook as a whole is free game. Like that's what people do. They come to Nook if you book.
Right.
So I am so grateful that even at 16.5 thousand members, there's the same level of integrity, respect, compassion, and care as when it was only 16 people, 30 people, 50 people, 100 people. And this time last year, I only had 300 people, girl.
Oh, like
We're at
but
16.
it's because of I truly believe it is because of the care with which you curated this space.
Yeah.
It is, totally that. Like again, even before I saw like your pushback for people who were not following the rules, just something about the space, felt
Mm.
like home. It just felt welcoming. And
Yeah.
again, I don't for several reasons. One, because I'm just like again, I don't like I ain't nuck if you buck. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
you get me there, we in a dangerous territory. Like
Right.
that's not
It
my
takes a lot to get there now. If I'm there,
right.
I'm sorry.
And
Not.
and that chick, she gonna take the legs from under you, right? And it ain't gonna anybody who's ever taken me there, we ain't never talked afterwards. I'm gonna just say it like that. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
end it. You could start it, but I'm gonna end it. That's not. I don't like that. I don't like being in that space. That's not a comfortable space for me. So
Mm,
I don't engage in a lot of things because of that. But like it just always just felt a welcome space from the moment that I entered it. But then I also see how you manage it to make sure that it
yeah.
stays that space. And then earlier you talked about like reminding people with their posts. You did this post, and I don't know if it's an old post that you reposted or if it was a new post, but it don't matter. You did this post, and it was all about communication.
Yes, I just posted because I'm doing a communication series right now. We have part 3 tomorrow, but it's like how we say things, saying it simple, understanding boundaries, what happens when that communication doesn't go well and we have to regroup without losing ourselves. Like, yeah.
But I felt like that was like a dissertation, like on like communication. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you posting this stuff? Would it, like
Mhm.
all of that, like um I had never really seen it spelled out so well.
Mhm. Thank you.
And so that like really, really stood out to me. And I'm like, I think that, anybody who has a community, whether it is in person, online,
Mhm.
your company, whatever it is, if
Yeah.
you have a community, that is like valuable information on how you should interact in a way
Yeah.
that fosters healthy growth and
Mhm.
healthy relationships. Because again, people just be wilding. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
somebody shares something vulnerable, and then your response is, "Well, you stupid," because of that. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yes, and that's really how people are. And communication is such a art form. In the way that we communicate and handle each other with care. And it's never what we say, but how we say it and what the goal is of the thing that we said. Like, are you saying this thing to hurt someone? Are you genuinely trying to help them? Are you trying to only get your own point across? Like, what exactly are you trying to convey? And then that handles how we communicate that thing, and also realizing we are not a monolith. So when you have a group full of people who are very literal and things like that, and someone say, there was a post and it was like, how come we don't have any street smarts? And there were some comments like, yeah, I blame my parents because I wasn't allowed to do this or that. And then there was the other people like, who is we? I got a lot of street smarts. I grew up in 7095 Compton in the hood, yang yang. Like, so so they like, I don't know who you're talking about because we're gonna take it literally. So then it was like, okay, well, how could we say this? Say this has been my experience, or I'm curious whether anyone else relates to, or
Right,
that didn't sit right with me because, and we have to learn to speak for ourselves, not for the collective, or simply asking questions because no one wants to be included in an identity that they can't relate to, and you're automatically
right,
getting people who are ready to disagree just because they don't fit that one part of your sentence, rather than people who see it and be like, oh, like I understand blah blah blah. So it's like you want to have communication that doesn't feel make people feel like they need to defend or arm themselves, because that's not the goal. So I always say, like, what is your goal of what you're trying to say? And I had the thing where it's like, what to consider when commenting. Like, am I responding to what was actually said? Am I making assumptions? Am I correcting something that needs correcting? Am I centering my own experience in a way that erased theirs? Like, it's all those things to consider. And it's funny because I was going to be a teacher, but I ended up going back to grad school and doing some other things. But I get to live out all of my career fantasies within
hmm.
this one space because I'm like,
No,
I'm teaching
look, you
on
killing it
Tuesday.
too.
I'm doing this on Thursday. I have community. I'm building this trip for us to go on. I am using my business brain to bring a lot of this to life. And it's just so amazing. It's so amazing.
No, this is your space and this is your calling. And now you killing it. Cause I was like, I sat there, cause sometimes something be long, I've been and moved on. But I
Yeah.
sat there and read through the whole entire thing, and I was just
Wow.
like, this is like everybody needs to go through this training. Like,
Yeah.
because this is what communication should be. And it's like it's like everything that I've thought, like it was
Mhm.
like put out into words, and I'm like, this not being in place is what's wrong with the internet,
Yes.
because it does not have to be this, and
Yes.
not just the internet. I want to bring it back because I know we have a lot of business owners that are listeners, in how
Mm-hmm.
you communicate with your clients as well. A lot of
And I
times
consult. So I could come in and do a workshop for someone's business on communication and neurodivergence in the workplace and all those different things.
yeah,
So,
because no, definitely y'all hit her up, because some of y'all out here arguing with your clients for no reason, because you got a chip on your shoulder behind something else that happened before, and you're bringing that into the communication, right? You're not responding to what is in front of you or the situation as an
yeah.
individual situation. You're, looking at it through some lens that's not applicable, right? Like,
Hmm.
take the readers off and
Right.
deal with what we're looking at in front of us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And pretty much, when we have to listen to receive and take in the information, whereas a lot of us are accustomed to listening simply to have a response. We're not even taking in what they're saying. We're like, okay, oh, they said this. I need to say that. I need to say that. I need to say this. But it's like, did you hear anything they said? And within our neurospicy group, we're coming in with different diagnoses, different communication styles, different sensitivities to topics, different trauma histories, cultural experiences, levels of directness. Because a lot of times people say, "Oh, that's just me. I'm just direct," or people don't like how honest I am. It's like, no, you're
No, you're
actually
just
being
rude.
ouch.
You're rude.
And no, that neurodivergence is not a excuse for mistreating people, or nothing is an excuse for being a nasty person. It doesn't matter how direct or honest or whatever you feel like is the cause for how you treating people. Like, that's not an excuse. And people come in with different levels of comfort, nuance, and ambiguity. So when I communicate, I aim for clarity, specificity, clear. Am I being fair? Am I being emotionally aware? And is there room for difference without flattening everyone into one experience?
Right.
Those are the things that I pay attention to. And people are like, "Oh, you're so good at this," or "How do you do that?" And this, and honestly, like, some of it is learned through experience, but I don't know. It's just something that I've always been good at: mediating, keeping the peace, trying to understand people. And now I'm able to display that within the work that I'm doing because words are so important. And I think it's because maybe I've been cut with a knife by words before. And it's like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but actually, shit, I'm gonna remember what you said if it hurt my feelings in 20, 30 years, because
Right. Right.
I'd rather stub my toe than to hear what that person just said to me.
Right.
So, people forget that, like, words have a lasting impact. Our body is going to heal, or bones heal, all that. But that internal psyche and the things that we internalize, people spend decades healing a trauma of something that was said to them, compared to, like, oh, you might have a cast if you broke your arm in 6 to 8 weeks, like, you good. Or even if you need surgery, okay, you're going to get patched up and then you're good. But those experiences, what our parents say, what our friends say, what our teachers say, what our families say, you get people in interviews like, yeah, my ninth grade teacher told me I wasn't going to be nothing. Now look at me. And they still in their 50s, 60s getting back at what their ninth grade teacher said.
Absolutely.
So words matter so much.
No, they definitely matter. And I want to kind of circle back. You talked about, just different levels of like how literal you take things,
Mm,
right? Like that matters. But when you were talking about that, the thing that popped into my head, and this is like really random, this ADHD moment, just go with it. Um, and you may have an answer to this, you may not, but I just want to throw this at you. The cross sectionality of neurodivergence and how you process information that is told to you,
mm,
right? As with the, you know, as Black folks, we tend to have a colorful way of speaking, right?
Yes, we do.
And so I'm just thinking about right now, like if you know, are artistic and you're taking things very literal and you are like, you know, speaking to, you know, people who are neurospicy, but, you know, maybe, you know, not literal and
Yep.
got that, you know, got the flair with which we speak, that
Yep.
also adds another layer, you know, especially if you're
Mhm.
growing up in that environment where people are saying like I know I catch myself often when I'm talking. It's usually when I'm talking to non-black people, but when I'm talking to people and I say something and I realize I'm like, oh, I'm colorful. That's how I speak.
Yeah.
Like, because they will take what I'm saying very literally. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, like, because like me and my husband are high school sweethearts. So I'll say, oh, we've
Oh,
been together since 1852. And they'll be like,
how old are you? I know black don't crack, but are you?
look. They sitting up there trying to do the math in their head, and I'm like, no, I didn't, no, I didn't mean it, like,
Yeah.
like that. But I'm just thinking about that extra layer
Hmm.
on top of what
Yeah.
we already experience as far as like communication and really trying to get to the root of what's being said.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm an oxymoron because I joke all the time. I am not a literal person. I'm always playing. And I'm like, I'm in a group full of literal people. But not only that, if someone says something to me, I'm going to take it as exactly what they're saying at face value. And the joke is gonna go over my head. So I'm like, I speak in one way, but I receive in another way. And I'm like, I am such like an oxymoron because what? And it's just so funny. And then we realize that neurotypicals typically are not direct speakers because there's so much rules and weirdness and communication in society that it's not like this is red, I like red. It's like, well, I don't like blue. I don't like green. There's different levels of tint, but it's not quite pink. It's a little darker than pink. And it's like, red? You talking about red?
Right.
I don't realize it. And the thing that came up lately was the bumper sticker thing. I don't know if you saw it where it was like
Oh,
the
the
hunk
honk
be
if
like
you,
pizza.
but see, okay, so all right. That, and I'm not sure about that specifically, but there's so many things recently people are like, this don't mean what it mean. And I'm like, y'all just making stuff up because I've just started asking people. I'm like, what does this mean? And like I have yet to find the person that is like, it means this new thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, y'all just making stuff up now. And I
Yeah.
can't deal with that.
Yep. So I think the origins of those bumper stickers and stuff was sarcasm because it was people who were bad drivers.
Right.
And they're like, if people, I just ran over this curb, but if someone, and I didn't go when the light turned green, but if people are honking at me, I'm just gonna put hunk if you like pizza. And people are angry and they're like, ha ha ha, you're honking because you like pizza, even though they know the person is cussing them out.
See,
But,
I don't know. I don't know
but
if I can
along the
accept this.
along the lines, one of us, Neurospicy folks, saw all these different bumper stickers and was like, I love science. I love pizza. I love all these things. Of course, I'm going to put that in my car and we're going to have a pizza party. So I think like the different mindsets started adopting these things. And while one person is doing it being a sarcastic jerk, the other person's like, I definitely want to connect with other people who like
Right. Like,
on the
let's
road.
connect.
Let's have like you love this sports team, you like that thing, let's talk about it. So multiple things end up being true because some people miss the sarcasm while some people are like ha ha ha. And I was talking about the one where it was like hunk of your HORNY. And I'm
Hmm.
like, if you saw those, and the thing is, I don't know if it's a false memory, a real memory, or a movie. I don't know if you have those things,
Yeah.
but it's like even if they're in your way, you don't want to hunk because it says that then you look like a creep
Right.
because you hunk. But it's
Right.
like if
Because you
you
honked
get
at
out my
them.
way, and it's like, oh, you trying to see something? Gonna trying to do something for two something, and it's like, no, I just want you to move.
Just move. Right. No, and I totally get it. It's just,
Ah,
I feel like I've seen so many things like that recently. Like, I'm like, that one, I'm still on the fence, right? I'm
yeah,
just leaving it out there in the universe. I'm still on the fence. But there's some that I'm like, that is not what that means. Like, like it's just like that is not what that means. And I'm gonna need y'all to stop playing with people because some people don't know. Like, some
Right.
people are like literal in that way, right? Like I'm I tend not to be like extremely literal. I know I'm not in the way that I speak. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if I am in a like I have moments and I'll share that in
Yeah.
a second. But like so I'm accepting of the whole like neurodivergent thing. I'm telling my husband, I'm like, dude, you might want to get on this bunny trail and look at some stuff. But it's funny because you know how like when you look at symptoms, not all things apply to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like all the ones that don't apply to me apply to him. So
Yep.
like when you were saying like it's like pink but darker and then that's how his brain works. If
Yeah.
my brain is like, why the hell you ain't just say red? Like so so we'll have conversations and I'm like, bro, what? Like how did you it was a straight line. How did you what where did you go? Like
Keep going in circles,
yes,
circles, round and round.
yes. So I'm like, so it's so funny to me because I'm like, all the things that I think don't apply to me really do apply to him.
I
But
love it.
so
That
I'm just like, sometimes it makes for some interesting conversations because I'm like, what? I'm like, this was, I don't, but I also speak colorfully. So then that I'm sure like throws him off, like
yeah.
from hearing these things or whatever. I just said I was going to tell you a story and I forgot what it was about.
Oh Lord. But I'm like, I haven't been with someone that long. Y'all probably have your own language too. Like y'all could be
We do.
talking in a room full of people and no one knows what y'all talking about except y'all.
No, yeah. Because we have so many like inside jokes and like, just little things or whatever. And I tell people it's like, we grew up together, like literally. And so
Yeah.
it is just like, that's, because people like, how y'all sit together that long or whatever. We grew up together. So like every iteration, we were in it together, right? And, we are definitely not the same people we were, 20
Yeah.
something years ago.
We
But,
got together in directions that work with each other compared to
right.
like, oh, we're just going our separate ways. We don't understand like this isn't working. You were able to complement each other's growth and be in spaces where you allow each other to evolve. I love
Yeah.
that. I love love, girl.
Yeah. Oh, you look, especially Black love. I'm like, look, what happened? Come here, sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Cause what y'all not about to do is be out in these streets breaking. I mean, some relationships don't belong together, and that's its own conversation. But what we not about to do is just throw away good relationships for silly reasons. Like, let's sit
That
down
part.
and have a conversation. We have a rule. You can go in another room and be mad. When you finish being mad, let's sit and talk about this and figure it out.
Yeah.
That's my rule of all relationships, friendships, everything. Like, sometimes I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you mad. And I'm not saying it to make you mad, but I am an honest person. Like,
Mhm.
not in the way that, social media where people just be being mean and just like not like that, but
Yeah,
sometimes you're wrong, friend, and I'm not that friend that's gonna
exactly.
uphold you in your wrongness.
Yeah, to have
And
the whole
so,
people accountable.
yeah, so if that upsets you, then I'm gonna let it upset you. And when you're ready to talk about it, we can talk about it and we can go from there. And we gonna, you
Hmm.
know, I think people are too quick to throw things away, and not work through it. And honestly, if you can't work through it with people, then I don't know if that's a real relationship, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna ask you one more question and I'm gonna wrap up. For the person that's sitting here listening to this and maybe had a couple of aha moments or like is, looking to find out more or just kind of explore, maybe they on a spectrum, right? Like,
Mhm.
what would be your advice to that person?
I would say to continue to learn themselves, start taking notes, start looking at different people who are within the community and able to validate the things that you're feeling, where you could safely have these communications and conversations with people. And then I would say definitely look for a therapist, psychiatrist, doctor, and like things that can formally get you evaluated. Um, if you're going to know yourself more than anyone else, so just don't give up on you if this is something that you know about yourself and you want to do better, or you maybe even have experienced it with a loved one and things like that. And you're like, actually, they were diagnosed and I see myself in that. The biggest part is just not expecting other people to understand us or accept us once we know, but being able to give ourselves grace, care, and understanding and seeking the resources. And that's a huge thing. Like, I love the Facebook group and the activity and the social, like socializing and stuff for everyone. But one of my hugest pillars is being able to get us more resources as far as understanding these diagnoses and what doctors can we go to, what therapists, what places are affirming to actually help me get answers. Because when it comes to these things that are based on observation and our lived experiences, it's very rare for someone who's self-diagnosed to be wrong about themselves. Like, how you
Mhm.
gonna tell me I don't know myself?
Right.
So just to continue with that, and then to remember that it's harder for people to see Black women as having these difficulties, especially high accomplished Black women.
Right.
So that's a whole nother conversation. So I would just say, like, don't give up and to seek community and resources. But as you find those things out and start to unmask, don't feel like you have to conform or that you're not good enough for that, you know, people won't accept you. Because if there's people that see you for who you are and they're no longer on board with being in your life, or they discredit you, or, you know, have nasty things to say, then those people aren't a part of your tribe. And a big part of this is sometimes we have to let people go or love them from a distance. So don't be afraid for the changes that are going to happen. And a lot of them will be good because you'll have answers. But some of them may not be as nice as you expected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
just
mean, I think that just listening to you say that, like any growth process or journey has those qualities to it, in the sense that there's, these great parts of finding where you belong or finding community and people who understand you, right? But then
hmm
there's going to always be those parts of shedding the things, right?
yeah,
Shedding parts of your past that are not going to fit anymore.
yeah,
And so, I mean, it's just kind of a part of it, right? And not to like not downplaying that in any
yeah,
sense, but I always try to be honest with people about what a process is going to look like.
yeah. And multiple
And
things can be true. You can
yeah,
have ADHD and autism and depression and CPTSD and schizophrenia and this and. So just because, okay, yeah, I got CPTSD, but that don't mean I don't have autism or ADHD. All these things could coexist. So that's something we also have to pay attention to, because they're quick to be like, nope, it's not that, it's this. And that's what's causing this. But one could, like, ADHD has a lot of comorbidities because we make less dopamine. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think for me, finding both resources, like you said, and like community have been huge.
hmm
And I would say just even start having a conversation. Like, even if it's not, even if you haven't yet joined the community, if you're going to join a community, join this community. I'm just going.
And we have a co-ed and we have a LGBTQ community. So there's three
Oh,
communities in the
look at
umbrella.
this. So look, so yes, I always, when I bring people to you guys, is because I always want you to know whatever the topic is, whatever the field is, I always want you to be able to say, I know a trusted person in this field. That's
Yes.
how I feel about this group as well. Like I'm saying this is a safe space. And so if that's, if you're exploring this, I think that this is the best place for you to do that.
Yes.
Um, but I'm gonna just say this, like once I went down, like even before I was in the group, once I went down the rabbit hole and I was like in my group chat, I was like, y'all, I think I got ADHD. And then it was like, girl, yeah, we all do. Huh? Y'all weren't gonna tell me we wasn't gonna talk about this. Like, what is happening right now? And so I'm saying that to say, like, I feel like no matter what the diagnosis is, whether it is a mental health diagnosis, whether it is a physical, diagnosis as far as like, cancer, whatever, everything feels worse when you feel like you're the only person experiencing it.
Yes.
That that feeling of being alone, I think, elevates everything else. And realizing the more I talk about things that are going on in my life out loud, the more I realize that, like, so all y'all just had this the whole time and y'all just nobody wanted to like say anything about it. And now that dialogue is open. So now you can have that conversation. Now, you're going to realize how many other people around you are experiencing the same thing. So
Yeah.
I think that, just even starting with having a conversation.
Absolutely.
And I mean, sometimes it's going to let you know what people you need to take a step back from too.
Yeah.
Because
That
if
part.
they have a huge negative response, then you just like, oh, okay, well, we can't talk about
Hmm.
that. Let's move right along. Like,
Literally.
and that's cool too. But I mean, I know some people struggle a little bit more with like separating from, people than I do.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, all right, that was
It was
nice.
nice knowing you.
Like, right, it was nice knowing you. I'm gonna still be me over here, but good day.
Yeah, pretty
All right,
much.
so I'm gonna do the wrap up questions because I know we could
Oh
keep
yeah.
going, and I know I'm gonna have to have you back because
I
I
will
feel like,
happily come back anytime. And I want you on my podcast.
oh, I'm coming, girl. I love a good podcast. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you being here and sharing. And I know that there's so much more that we can get into, but I just wanted to at least like open that door because I want us to, there's so many things we just need to start normalizing
Yes.
because the amount of relief, like we didn't talk about this, but I was thinking about it, and I know you're younger than me, but even stuff like perimenopause and menopause and
Yeah. So we had a
compounds
hangout. Yeah.
how that compounds this because I really think me coming to this realization had a lot to do with that because it like I'm like, wait, hold up now, like I can't even move the way I used to move, like all of those
Hmm.
things became much more apparent in this stage of my life. Like
Yeah.
the mask started cracking, girl. It started
Mhm.
cracking, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, what
And
you mean?
that's a huge topic. Yeah. That we
Like, I'm gonna
didn't.
just lay here all day. Like, I'm just gonna lay here all day. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But I got work. I gotta. Okay, all right, cool. Uh, but just figuring that out and like some of those like coping mechanisms as well, like to give ourselves grace as well as embrace the waves of who we are.
Yeah.
So yes, we're gonna have to come back and spin the block on that one.
Yes.
All
And I
right.
keep sending things so I don't forget on the side,
Oh
like
no, I
the
love it. I love it because I know how I am, and I'm gonna save the chat so I can get it. I look because if I forget in the moment, which you just reminded me, I'm supposed to send somebody something. Um, then who knows when that's gonna rotate back around to the front of my brain. We don't know.
right.
So okay, so wrap up questions. Tell me about your favorite pair of pajamas.
Well, right now I have on my lovely muumuu. Uh and it's my favorite because it's cozy, lets that thing breathe,
Yes,
gotta have the
yes.
open bottoms. And just it hugs me. It's lightweight. And so anything that's like light, breathable, comfortable, flowy, it's either this or nothing. Like that's the only option.
And that's fair. And like, no matter what answer people give, I'm like, yes, because I really do love pajamas. Like, it's not like a
Yep.
gimmick. I really love pajamas. So
Yes.
for me, if I have like the caftan on, that's rich auntie vibes for me.
Yeah.
Like that's just like I gotta put my water in a special glass today, and I'm just floating around, giving giving Diane Carroll vibes.
Okay.
That's what that is for me. Okay, so my time freedom allows me to complete that sentence.
My time freedom allows me to explore more of the things that makes me happy.
I love that. I love that. Yes. Yes. Because we need that. We need that space. What's the
Yes.
best advice that you can give someone that's seeking the profits in pajamas lifestyle?
I would say to go for it, to go within your passion. And if you have the freedom to take some time to explore that thing and really build on it, if you know it's your passion, don't give up because things get discouraging at times. And then when you're becoming an entrepreneur and you realize that a lot of times you're customer base is not going to be the people you see every day. It's not going to be your family and friends and all of that, depending on what your product is. That can be discouraging because it's like, but I help everybody, I support everybody, I do this. And you realize it may not come back in that way because they don't see you. Don't allow that to deter you from reaching your calling. So you just have to persevere. And when you arrive, it's going to feel good. But if you are arriving and you're neurospicy, then you're probably always thinking about the next thing. So allow yourself to sit in the accomplishments of what you've already done because the exact point where you are is something that you were once looking forward to that didn't exist yet. Like even you with this amazing podcast, I'm pretty sure at one point this was just a vision of something you wanted to do, and now it's a reality. So we have to clap for ourselves at each step of the way. And sometimes that's hard to do because we have such big visions, and it's like, but we're not there yet. We're here. And it's like, okay, but at one point you weren't here yet either.
Right.
My biggest advice is perseverance, gentleness with self, and having a community that understands and support you, you know.
Yeah.
So if it
I love
wasn't for
that.
my space, we wouldn't be here. So I'm happy I did the things and you saw me and you messaged me and we
I,
go-
like
we locked in.
I went so this is one of my things that I'm very, very serious about is letting people know what like if I see you, I need to let you know that I see you.
Yeah.
And the reason being is I think that so often we see people in our lives that are doing amazing things that we see as amazing people, right? And we assume that they know that.
Yeah.
They don't. Like, and I don't mean that in like, that like the same like thoughts and, irrational things that run through your head, it runs through their heads too.
Yeah.
And there've been a many a times where like a friend or, a stranger even has come and shared with me my impact on them.
Mm-hmm.
And one, that's just huge to hear it. But two, it's always in a moment where I'm like, they didn't know it, but in that moment, I needed to hear that so badly, right? Because the journey is not linear. Um, there are there are hills and valleys, and there are moments where you could be, to the outside world doing all the things, but inside just not feeling it right in that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I make it a point, and um, it is a rarity to experience what you've created on, especially on social media.
Yeah.
And so I cannot like not acknowledge that. And I'm just like, this is dope. Like this is like so dope. Like and again, like then to see how you're like, nah, friend, you got to go. Like you can't you can't be in here acting like that.
Right. And some I'm still friends with them on Facebook because I let people add me and it's like we friends on Facebook and I had to kick you out the group, but it wasn't even for something you and I had, but you can't be in here mistreating and talking to people any kind of way. It's not personal, but I always have to think of the collective and I'm like, I don't even make myself bigger than the program because I'm not going to do the opposite of what I'm asking you all to do. Like
Right.
I hold myself accountable to the same rules I'm asking everyone else to follow.
Right. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think, there's some people that like I know them and I'm friends with them, but I'm never going to invite them to be on here
Yeah.
because I feel the same way. This is a safe space and I'm not bringing something here that is not that that person is a bad person, but if you
Mhm.
can't respect the order of the space,
Mhm.
then I can't bring you in here.
It's
Like
not.
that's
Yeah.
like that it just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like um everything is not for every
Yeah.
space.
And if I'm wrong, I will own it because there's been one or two times, and we don't have much conflict and stuff in the group, but there was a time where I read a comment, I was like, why would she say that? Like, and I'm waiting for a response, and I'm like, let me just, move them out of here. And then that's just like, hey, this is what happened. I didn't mean this. You didn't see this comment. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Or people who were wrong. If they
Right.
come back and they say, I understood what happened, like, I really want to be a part of this community still, like, and they had engagement and they understand and they take accountability, then I let people back in. Or if it was
Right.
completely me, I'm gonna own that. I'm sorry, I made that mistake. I misread this. Like I understand, but I'm not just willy-nilly removing people. I do try to have the conversations first. But if they were blatant, like be this, F that, or not caring
You
what
gotta
someone
go. You
tried to say,
you
like,
like out.
then yeah,
But
and then
I
that's
mean, but I
different. But
respect
I feel
that.
great. Yeah.
I respect that. Like, the accountability is important.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability is important because we ain't gonna always be right.
Right.
We're not gonna always be right, but be accountable. Like, I was, and I wasn't even all the way serious, but one time I was like talking to a friend, I'm like popping off at the mouth about something that just happened. But we just talking. I'm not like serious. But then she was like, you know what, Danielle, but maybe that person, fill in the blank. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you can just let me finish being mad right quick. But I respect that because you know what? I'm just tired right now. And I own it. I was tired and I was hungry. And I
Yep.
own that. And so I'm just like, you're right, I'm wrong. Like, and it is what it is.
Hmm.
We gotta be accountable. We
Yes.
gotta be accountable. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta know that you're not gonna always be right, or that even if that wasn't your intention, that maybe it was hurtful to someone, and be
Yes.
able to, stand up and apologize.
Yeah.
So, no, I truly respect everything that you do.
And in business, sometimes decisions are hard because certain things, it's not my personal feelings towards anybody or even towards the situation, but I see the bigger picture and how someone was negatively impacted or how things could have been handled differently. And I have to stand on business and change things. And when you're in a leadership position, in general, but especially as a Black woman, like there's so many stigmas and things that we're constantly battling against. And it's like, well, I don't want it to seem like a mean girl behavior. I don't want this, or I don't want someone to not feel welcome. Like there's so many things that goes into consideration when we're making decisions. And I would say that I've gotten a lot of lessons within this space. And like even now, so I told you we've been in a LLC for a year, but I'm so big on offering these resources that you see all those things on the calendar and things I'm constantly posting. There was no charge for that. And these are things I'm spending days and weeks preparing for, teaching that slide deck I
Hmm.
shared. Spent so much time researching, making sure the wording is right, doing the designs. And when I say I'm spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week between moderating, creating these flyers, creating programming, trying to get partnerships, I can't feel bad about putting a price on that. you can't make profits from your couch if you don't
Right.
have anything for anyone to
Right.
support and you're not putting a price on it. It doesn't matter how much people support you, think what you're doing is amazing. They're not going to do it in a tangible way if you don't create the opportunity. And it's
Right.
like I've had a donation link for months, but people aren't naturally just gonna be like, oh, Clee's great. Let me get to this.
Mm-mm.
I see what she's doing. Like you have to put people in a position where they can have real buy-in. And if they don't, because our membership is our Facebook group is free, but our membership is $15 a month that's launching. And it's like, if people don't want to do that, that's them. I have to accept that everyone is not going to support in that way. Everyone is not going to see the value, but that doesn't mean the value doesn't exist. And that doesn't
Right.
mean that I need to keep putting myself in a difficult position because as much as I love it, this is hard work. It's so much
Oh,
interaction,
definitely.
so much planning, there's so much attention to detail and I have to have a team. And because I have this love and passion for what I'm doing, I don't expect people to come on board to have the same, like, I'm going to work 40 hours for free too.
Right.
Like, I would never ask that of anybody, and I shouldn't even accept that for myself, but that's how deep I was in the work that if we're going to get those profits on that couch, we have to be willing to do those hard things and accepting that everyone isn't going to come, everyone isn't going to support. But that's the difference between success and struggle is
Yes.
putting ourselves out
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I'm so glad to hear you say that. I know we talked about it in our previous conversation. I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
girl, you
I gotta,
you giving all the goods now. You
yeah. So
deserve
we're stepping.
to be compensated
Yeah.
for, those things. And um, I mean, I think that's another thing that we have to like separate ourselves from is that service is free, right? Like,
Yeah.
we are bred to be servants and and because it's our passion and we love it, we don't think about what that monetary value is. But again, it takes, and I'm just saying this from the outside looking in, not even knowing your day to day,
Hmm.
knowing what it takes to build something
Yes.
and grow something and maintain something. There's so many unseen hours in that.
It
And
is.
and then for it to be as superb as it is. I mean, like, I'm just keep talking to you about the space. I mean, she's got, Zoom calls for body doubling and I joined somebody had an offshoot group with puzzles because I love jigsaw
Hmm.
puzzles. I didn't join the puzzle group,
Yep. Our
like
play dates. Yeah.
yeah, there's play dates, there's space for people to come on there and just if they need to talk to somebody. There's all kinds of opportunities that are there. And we have to start investing in the things that we want to see because otherwise those things end up going away,
Yeah.
right? And I don't mean that like in a stark kind of
Yeah.
way, but the
It's
reality
true though.
is,
It's not
you know it's
sustainable.
it's not sustainable. Or what happens when you start resenting it because it's taking up so much of your time that's not being compensated.
Yeah.
So
And I still
we
work full time.
so, don't take that for granted. I got ADHD, so just send me an email when they
I
when
got,
the membership drop because I might get
I
distracted.
got,
But I want to be a part of that. Like, don't take for granted the things that are beautiful and meaningful in your life because somebody had to create that. And it takes that person time, money, and energy to do those things. So support, 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 because I mean it's for you in the long run. Like, that's the reality. Like, I mean, you could go sit in your corner, you already got what you need, like, you didn't have to share it or build something for others, right?
yes.
So support it. Like, don't be that way. I know people get funny. Oh, well, now she charging for
Yeah. And it's like I'm gonna
where
have to just,
else you gonna get this?
right.
Where else are you gonna get this? And then for that price, like,
Right. Yeah, I'm like, that's like a coffee nowadays and some a bagel, like, a few things. And the thing is, I'm so quick to support and give. And I even just had a member, they was like, hey, can I post my GoFundMe because I need to get this thing for admissions. And I was like, well, just send me the link. And I just sent her the money because she was pretty close to her goal. So I just put the
Mm-hmm.
rest. And it's like, I have no problem with giving and offering and helping, that there's other people who are like that, that want to be part of it, that want to give, that want to be in the membership. And the peoples that don't, they won't. And that is okay. I won't hold that against them.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I mean
but
it's
just
not to
won't have
be,
free access. Yeah.
yeah, it's not to be held against. It's just, you know, we watch things go by the wayside because we don't
Mhm.
support them.
Yeah.
And we got to stop doing that. We really,
Yeah.
really have to stop doing that. We need to support the things that we want to continue to see.
Yeah.
You're spending money on stuff that is like rotting your brain, and that you don't, that you probably need to just let sit down somewhere or whatever, right?
Hmm.
You can't even get Netflix for this price. Now, come on now. Like
That part.
this is your health and your well-being.
Hmm.
So, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. No,
I'm
you're right.
just saying, like, I just see it, and I think that we're so accustomed to people being, these, fully giving servants, that
Yeah.
we take it for granted, and we
Yeah.
don't realize like how important it is. And this is a space that can, help you to feel um more, I hate to use the word normal, but I don't mean normal in the sense of like
Yeah. I know
the
what you
way
mean.
that people mean it. I mean comfortable in your own skin,
Yeah.
operating in your full being, right?
Hmm.
Um so support it.
Yeah. And
Support it.
a lot of it is trial and error and figuring out what works. And I like feedback and information. So I put out a membership survey. So, by the time this actually airs, our Spice Rack and then the new membership and everything will be fully functioning. And it's like I'm putting in resources and money because it's like I pay for the Zoom every month and I pay to have these website platforms. I pay for the merch companies and designs. I'm already sewing into all these things and have been doing so. ADHD brain, we pay for the thing before we even doing the
Look,
thing.
because we're
So
doing it. We done got all the parts and pieces.
yeah, all these subscriptions and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, those things add up and I'm putting these things in and I'm not asking for anything back. And that's just not realistic. That's not sustainable. And I believe in myself. I believe in this vision. I know what I'm offering. I know the value. So I just had to, the biggest thing is that I had to get out of my own way.
Mm-hmm.
I had to
Mm-hmm.
get out of my own way.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for like your encouragement and your realness. Even when we first had this conversation, it's been like 2 months already now.
Yeah.
Um, it's just this, you're the type of person I want in my corner because you keep it real and I want to give you your flowers because I appreciate that. I appreciate you having this platform. I appreciate the sisterhood and understanding. And even just compassion with today. I'm like, oh shoot, what time is it? Let me get out here, da, da, da. And just this is what we need. We need people who get us because it's not like I
Yeah.
don't value you, I don't value your time or vice versa. It's just we understand each other's brains and it's like, I got you. I see you. Take a deep breath.
Right.
You're
I
doing
was just like,
something
because
to
you was
make
stressing, and I'm
God.
like, I'm
Girl,
good,
I
friend.
was because I'm
I'm
so
like, I'm
like
good,
adamant about
friend.
this.
I'm good. Like, I'm
That put
good.
me at ease because everyone isn't like that though. So
Yeah, no, because people, it's energy, you give out, and it's like, why are we putting that energy into other people? Like, why? I don't ever want to be the source of somebody's like stress or strain. Like, there's enough of that in the world, right?
exactly.
And it's like I'm chilling. Like I'm like literally in my pajamas. I am chilling. Like
Yes.
after I finish this, I'm gonna grab something to eat and I'm gonna go put my feet up for a little while. So it's like, what am I rushing you for? And
Hmm.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just, so we got to get to that place where we are
Hmm.
giving each other grace, and we
Yeah.
are helping each other to be the best versions of ourselves, right? Like that you are, doing that for yourself but for others as well. And
Yeah.
that's the world that I want to see, right? And
Right.
so, I like to pour into that, and I like to support women that are also on that same
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
So I really thank you for being on. Is before we wrap up for real, because we could keep going. How do people get in contact with you? And is there anything that you want to share with the community?
All right, so our website, neurospicyblackwomen.com. Our email is info@neurospicyblackwomen.com. You can find us on any of the social media platforms as Neurospicy Black Women, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube. We're also working on a podcast, so we've recorded some episodes. It's just the posting and doing the things, yay. Um, there's, of course, the Facebook group itself, and also becoming an official member of the Spice Rack, which gives a lot of exclusive access, such as merch that's only available to members. Resources when we have these meetings and hangouts, you get to go and have the worksheets and playbacks, and a lot of it is associated with the Zoom and being able to body double. But there's so many people who they may not ever use the Zoom, but that doesn't mean that a membership isn't beneficial to them
Right.
because there's so many other resources, and even partnering with therapists and psychologists and other healthcare professionals who have access to testing and information, allowing them to put their resources on the site and creating something that all of us can utilize. And I'm just excited to grow and do all the things and partner, because at the end of the day, as big as this gets and everything that I'm doing, I'm a collaborative person. So if I get with like therapy for Black girls, or different celebrities in mental health, or talk shows, different people that understand the vision, I'm always looking to collaborate. So if that's you, feel free to reach out. Like, I'm never going to be like, who do you think you are, or you can't be a part of this, or who are you to tell me? Because I experienced those roadblock blocks when I
Hmm.
started, and the group only had 100 members. And they're like, "You ain't got nobody in there. What can you offer me?" And people think that way, and
Right,
it's
they
funny
do.
because it's the opposite, because we've grown so much in a year. I see people like, "Can I promote my business?" or "You want to do something?" You see that, so now it's like I have to be more vigilant on people's what is the word, like,
Them,
intentions.
yeah,
Yeah, their motivation, their intentions and all that. But for the most part, like, I want to see people win. So it's never
right,
like a me or you
right,
thing. Even if you're doing the same thing I'm doing, we're different people, but I'm not gonna say, oh, we're in the same
correct,
mental health and neurodivergence. You can't be a part of my thing. Like, no, I
right,
will work with people who are serious and passionate and caring and want to be a part of the overall mission, which is bigger than all of us.
right. And that's
Yeah.
what I was about to say when you like that was the word that came to my mind immediately was mission, right? If
Yeah.
you are mission aligned and if you're mission focused, because I think a lot of times, like you say, you're not trying to get bigger than the community, right? If you
Yeah.
are mission focused, then it's so easy to collaborate with other people who are aligned with that same mission, but it also is such a great guiding point to know that you're not, that you're always making decisions that make sense for the overall mission. And I feel like you've totally exhibited that, like, hands down.
Thank you so much.
So I'm gonna wrap up because I'm just gonna keep sitting here fangirling. And
This is so fruitful, girl. This is so cool. Like, and I've done a few podcasts at this point, and just some awesome ones. I don't know if you've ever connected with Autism in Black, Maria. She's amazing. And
okay.
I've done like an email with, I mean, interview, but it was a written interview with Neurodivergent, and instead of virgin, it's urgent, URGENT.
Okay, okay.
There's some amazing people out there. So yeah.
I will definitely
Patience
be
continue.
reaching out, and I appreciate you just bringing this conversation to us. Like I said, I know this is not going to be our last, it's not going to be our last conversation in life, like period, but it's not going to be our last conversation here on the podcast either.
Yeah.
I want you to come back,
Yes.
and we can talk a little bit more. And then by then, maybe some people have, gone and explored and found out some things. And,
Yes.
I love when people reach out and share their experiences and their questions and stuff because we'll bring it back full circle. So thank you
Yes.
again for being a guest. And yeah, I can't wait for the membership to start. I'm gonna put all of your details in the show notes when this airs so everyone can get in touch with you. And I just want to thank you and thank the listeners for being here. And I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.